Now this story occurred just before I decided to transition. Without going into a lot of detail, it's incredibly painful for people like myself to try and remain in the sex that they were assigned at birth. So I got to the point where I could hardly focus on teaching. I was really quite a basket case, to be quite honest. And one of the things I decided I had to do while I was still a man and presented to the world as a man was to go out into the world dressed as a woman. And I decided I would set myself a goal of buying a pair of ladies' shoes. This happened to be in Richmond, and it's about 20 odd years ago, I've forgotten now. So this is called The Shoe Salesman, and it's a true story. Will that be cash or credit card? The shoe salesman asked. I found myself relaxing a little more as my 20-minute shoe shopping adventure was coming ever closer to ending. Cash, I said, recalling my decision before I even left home, that if I bought anything that day, it would be paid for with cash. I was not going to give anyone my credit card with my male name emblazoned, at least from my perspective, on it. Shall I put them in the box? The salesman asked politely. Or would you like to wear them? They go well with what you're wearing. I looked down at myself. They did look good with my off-white skirt, white blouse, and matching handbag. I had made a good choice. I thought as I remembered earlier that morning agonizing over what would be the best to wear on my first day ever buying shoes as a woman. A lot of thought had gone into choosing what to wear. Being as passable as possible as a woman was my primary goal. I hadn't yet transitioned. I wasn't even sure whether it was possible for me to transition and live in society as an ordinary woman. I was very much aware that I was exploring the world around me from the vantage point and insecurity of presenting as a woman, as opposed to the complete confidence I felt when presenting as a man. It felt strange to be focused on the immediacy of buying new shoes, and at the same time feeling insecure, nervous, and elated. I'll wear them. That's a good idea, I said. They are very comfortable. Do you need any polish for them? The shoe salesman asked as he walked towards the till while I carefully stood up from sitting on the chair. I was very much aware that I was wearing a skirt, not pants. As I walked toward the till, I felt myself relaxing more and more. There was no doubt in my mind that the shoe salesman's pleasantness and helpfulness had played a major role in making me feel at ease. He had picked out a number of pairs of shoes for me to wear and checked for comfort. Each time I had sat on the comfortable chair opposite him after walking around the store in my potentially new shoes. He had sat patiently on his shoe store fitting stool at my feet, leaned forward carefully, and it seemed to me almost tenderly, raised one of my bare legs slightly with one hand, and then with the other hand removed the unsatisfactory shoe and wiggled a replacement back and forth until it was comfortable. For my part, I had focused on the shoe's appearance and comfort, but above all, I had made sure I had kept my knees together. Okay, as I had sat on the chair watching the salesman, I had felt strangely disconnected from the immediate world around me. As I had expected, the process of choosing women's shoes had been fundamentally no different than that for men's shoes. But emotionally, the experience had been different. Was it because when I had sat in the chair, I could see so clearly that I was wearing a skirt, not pants? Or perhaps it was because a man was touching my bare legs. Had I experienced vulnerability as the shoe salesman touched me and sat so close to me? As I reached the counter to pay my bill, those feelings passed, and once again I felt elated. I am passable, and he doesn't know my secret, I thought. I knew that my choice of clothing for that day had been a major reason for my success. Yet I was aware that my makeup had helped too. The shoe salesman stood at the till and was holding up a can of kiwi shoe polish. I recommend this to protect your new shoes. The wet weather will be starting soon. I had my doubts about the wet weather. It was mid-August. It's good stuff though, I thought, having used it all my life on my men's shoes. I nodded and my thoughts returned to my makeup. I couldn't leave the house dressed as a woman without, for me, mandatory makeup. I remember taking extra care that morning as I had applied my eyeliner. How many times, I wondered, had I managed to touch an eyelid with the end of the brush or even the end of my nose, leaving a large unsightly black mark which would take at least 5 minutes to remove with my ever-handy bottle of makeup remover. Would you like to keep the box? The shoe salesman asked. Please, I said. You may as well put the polish in the box. How much do I owe you? I asked. The shoes, polish, and tax come to $58.73. I reached into my handbag for my purse and took out 3 $20 bills and gave them to him. You may as well put the receipt in the box too, I said. Would you like me to put the box in a plastic bag? The shoe salesman asked as he handed me my change. I picked up the box and walked towards the open door of the mall. Thanks, just the box is fine, I said as I turned to look directly at him. He appeared to be looking at me intently as I stepped out of the store into the mall. In a loud voice, his parting words were, "Thank you, sir." That was, for me, absolutely devastating. And you can tell my voice is cracking a bit here. I was at a place where I didn't even know, I knew I couldn't continue on as a man, and I didn't really know that I could continue on and do what you see me doing today. And when that man said that, sir, it was really devastating. And people who are like me, suicide is often a thing, and that act of saying that man will probably never know, but that's the sort of thing that can cause a child or an adult who is in that kind of vulnerable place to commit suicide. It took me weeks to get over that.